You want to attract a beautiful man? Then hear me. You don't chase beauty. You become it. Let's talk straight. No filters, no fluff. Here are the 6 truths that will shift your energy, your presence, your life. Do you want to attract a beautiful man? Then the first truth you need to embody: command your worth. Don't ask for it. This is where it all begins. Not with your looks, not with your outfit, not with the way you laugh or the way you flirt. It begins with how you see yourself. Because if you don't believe you're valuable, if you're constantly seeking approval or validation from the outside, you'll find yourself attracting men who see you as an option, not a queen. A beautiful man, a man of depth and substance, is not looking to complete someone. He's looking to meet someone who's already whole. He's drawn to energy, and energy never lies. The energy of self-worth is silent, unshakable. It doesn't try to prove. It doesn't try to impress. It doesn't need applause. It simply is. When you walk into a room knowing who you are, your power, your flaws, your brilliance, that's magnetic. That's unforgettable. You don't have to compete. You don't have to compare. Because when you're truly rooted in your worth, you understand that no one can take your place. There is only one you, and that in itself is your superpower. Stop giving discounts on your value. Stop lowering your standards just to keep someone around. When you truly know your worth, you stop negotiating with people who don't even qualify to sit at your table. You stop shrinking to fit into their world, because you're too busy building your own. And when you're living in that truth, something changes. Your eyes change. Your posture changes. Your presence changes. You no longer look for a man to give you identity. You already have one. What you're looking for is a partner, not a savior. And that difference, it's everything. Women who command their worth don't beg for time, attention, or love. They don't chase, they choose. They don't wait around for someone to see their value. They see it first. And that's why others can't help but see it too. You teach people how to treat you by what you tolerate. Every time you accept less than you deserve, you're teaching the world that you're okay with being undervalued. And that energy becomes a pattern. So if you want to break the pattern, start by rewriting the story you tell yourself about what you're worth. Here's the thing. Commanding your worth isn't about arrogance. It's not about being cold or untouchable. It's about being grounded. It's about knowing what you bring to the table and not being afraid to eat alone until someone worthy joins you. A beautiful man isn't impressed by superficial charm. He's drawn to the woman who knows who she is when no one's watching. The one who stands tall in silence. The one who doesn't need to perform because her presence already speaks volumes. Confidence isn't loud, it's solid, it's calm, and it's rare. So ask yourself this: do you believe you're enough right now? Not when you lose weight, not when you have more money, not when someone finally chooses you. Right now, because that belief, that unshakable knowing, is what sets the stage for everything else. When you command your worth, the world responds. Not always immediately, not always easily, but eventually it must. Because when a woman steps fully into her power, into her value, into her truth, she becomes undeniable. And no man, no matter how beautiful, will ever be enough to shake a woman who knows her worth. You were never meant to be a performance. You are not a product, not a show. Not a rehearsed version of someone you think the world or a man will finally approve of. You were born with your own frequency, your own fire, your own fierce truth. But somewhere along the way, you were told to tone it down, to move, to fit in. Smile like this, speak like that. Don't be too loud. Don't be too quiet. Be just enough to be. And in that process, you started to perform. You started to edit. You became a curated version of yourself, designed to please, to impress, to not rock the boat. But guess what? That version isn't the one who attracts a beautiful man. That version attracts a mirror of your performance, shallow, temporary, fragile. A beautiful man is not looking for a fantasy. He's looking for real. He's not watching to see if you're the ideal woman. He's watching to see if you're you. And if you're constantly switching masks, trying to be palatable, trying to avoid rejection, you're not being seen. You're just blending, camouflaging. But the irony is, the very things you hide, your weirdness, your opinions, your quirks, those are the things that make you unforgettable. Realness is risky, yes. Yes, but it's also irresistible. Vulnerability is power. And if you're brave enough to be seen fully, you'll be strong enough to be loved deeply. Living, not performing, means you stop editing yourself to match someone else's expectation. You speak your truth not to provoke, but to express. You share your passions without asking, is this too much? You cry when it's real. You laugh when it's loud. You don't apologize for your existence. When you're truly living, you give yourself full permission to take up space. You stop shrinking. You stop second guessing. You stop waiting for someone else to validate your experience. And in that raw, unfiltered energy, you become magnetic. Not because you're perfect, but because you're present. And let's talk about presence. The most attractive quality in a woman is presence. Not presence designed to entertain, but presence rooted in truth. Being here, being connected, being alive in every word you say and every move you make. When you're not performing, your presence is powerful. You're not calculating every step, you're feeling it. You're not stuck in your head trying to guess what someone wants from you. You're in your body, grounded, real. That kind of energy is rare. And men who are truly beautiful, inside and out, feel it. They sense the difference between someone who's playing a role and someone who's living her life out loud. You don't attract from the mask, you attract from the core. So drop the act. Stop smiling when you want to scream. Stop saying, I'm fine, when you're breaking. Stop pretending you don't care just to seem cool. That kind of pretending leads you into relationships where you're never truly known, just tolerated. And eventually, you'll resent it. You'll feel invisible. You'll wonder why you're doing everything alrighty but still feel empty. Here's why. Because performance wins attention, but only truth keeps connection. And if you're not being seen for who you are, you're always alone, even when someone's lying next to you. So dare to be unfiltered. Dare to say what you actually mean. Dare to dress for yourself. To speak without a script. To share without apology. This is not about rebellion. It's about freedom. It's about claiming your right to be human in all your messy, radiant glory. A beautiful man doesn't need a showgirl. He needs a woman who is alive, who breathes life into the space around her simply by being real, who has the courage to live, not perform, because performance fades. But truth echoes, truth lingers, truth attracts. And truth, your truth, is what a beautiful man is truly waiting for. Seduction is not about the dress. It's not about a perfectly arched brow or a flirtatious glance from across the room. It's not even about sex, not in the way the world has twisted it. Real seduction is something else entirely. It's energy, it's presence. It's what you radiate without saying a word. It's not what you do to get attention. It's what you embody when you know you don't need it. And here's the difference between desperation and seduction. Desperation screams, please pick me. Seduction whispers, I've already chosen myself. That shift changes everything. You can feel it in a woman who walks into a room fully rooted in herself, not performing, not chasing, just being. We've been taught that seduction is strategy. Smile like this, laugh at his jokes, play hard to get. But that's manipulation, not magnetism, that's theater. And let's be honest, it's exhausting. Real seduction isn't exhausting, it's effortless. Because that doesn't come from force. It comes from alignment. From a woman who is deeply turned on by her own life. Who carries herself like her desires are already met. She's not trying to seduce someone. She's living in a way that's already seductive. That kind of energy doesn't beg, doesn't barter, doesn't shrink. It simply attracts. Naturally, powerfully. Neediness is not love. It's fear. It's fear wrapped in craving, in clinging and a hunger to be filled. But nothing about true attraction grows in fear. It grows in freedom, in confidence, in space. A beautiful man, one with depth and self-awareness, can smell desperation from miles away. He may smile, he may flirt, but he won't stay. Because a woman who doesn't believe she's enough on her own will always need someone to prove it to her. That's not chemistry. That's a contract of insecurity, and it will never be enough. No man, no matter how beautiful, can fill the void you've left unclaimed within yourself. But when you stop chasing and start radiating, you become magnetic. You become the kind of woman who doesn't just enter a room, she alters it. Not with noise, not with volume, but with frequency, with intention. You speak less, but your words carry weight. You do less, but your energy lingers. You don't need to say, look at me, because they already are. Not because you're loud, but because you're lit. Seduction is a glow, a pulse. It's how you hold eye contact without flinching. It's how you smile from your soul, not from your lips. It's how you let your silence say more than your performance ever could. This isn't about being mysterious for the sake of allure. It's about being so in love with your life, your purpose, your essence, that you don't need someone to complete the picture. You are the art. You don't seduce from a place of lack. You seduce from overflow, from abundance, from knowing that the right man won't be intimidated by your fire. He'll be drawn to it. He won't try to tame it. He'll honor it. And when that kind of man meets a woman who's already lit from within, he doesn't ask her to dim. So if you want to be truly irresistible, stop trying to be chosen. Stop molding. Stop proving. And instead, cultivate depth, curiosity, joy. Feed your soul. Move your body. Create something. Laugh with your whole chest. Read something that cracks your heart open. Do what turns you on, not just in the bedroom, but in life. Because seduction is not a performance. It's not a trick. It's not a trap. It's a woman who knows her own power and no longer asks for permission to use it. That's the kind of energy a beautiful man can't ignore, even if he tries. You want to attract a beautiful man? Then stop making him the center of your universe. Stop building your life around the idea of meeting him. That's not magnetic, it's suffocating. A man is not your mission. He is not the destination. He is not the grand finale of your journey. Your purpose, your joy is when you live in alignment with your passions, when you build a life that turns you on, you become a force, a woman with vision, with fire, with movement. That's what draws in someone extraordinary. Not your willingness to revolve around him, but your refusal to dim for anyone. Let's get something straight. Men can feel when they're being idolized. And it doesn't feel good, not for the right kind of man. He doesn't want to be your plan. He wants to witness your plan. He wants to step into your world and be inspired by it, not rescue you from your boredom or be the cure for your loneliness. If the only thing lighting you up is the thought of love, then you're coming to the table empty, expecting someone else to fill the space. But when you're already full, when your life is rich, meaningful, exciting, you invite someone to join you, not save you. So what lights you up? What would you do if you weren't waiting to meet him first? Would you travel? Start your business? Take that dance class? Write the book? Stop postponing your life until someone walks in to complete it. Start living now. Make your own heart race. Fill your calendar with things that stretch your soul. B. Not because it'll make you more attractive, but because it'll make you alive. And aliveness is the most magnetic energy on this planet. A beautiful man doesn't fall in love with someone who's waiting. He falls in love with someone who's moving. And no, this isn't about being too independent or pretending you don't want love. This is about wholeness. This is about not placing the responsibility of your happiness on someone else's shoulders. Because the moment you do that, you give away your power. You become reactive instead of radiant. You begin living in response to what he does or doesn't do, instead of in alignment with what you desire. A woman who is already lit from within doesn't fear loss, because she knows nothing outside of her defines her value. And that kind of woman, she's rare, she's unforgettable, and she's irresistible. A beautiful man wants to be part of a beautiful life, one that's already blooming before he arrives. He wants to be challenged, not needed. He wants to walk beside someone who is rising, not wait. So build your life like he may never come, and not in bitterness, but in brilliance. Make your home your sanctuary. Surround yourself with people who expand you. Learn, create, celebrate. Let your life reflect your standards, your joy, your values. That way, when he does show up, he's walking into something vibrant, not vacant. And when he sees that, he'll know you didn't build it for him. You built it for you. And that makes him want to stay. This is your time to stop romanticizing waiting and start romanticizing living. You are the main character, the plot, the twist, the ending. Love is not the prize. You are. So show up for your life now. Show up with the kind of fire and fullness that leaves people wondering who you are and where you've been hiding. Don't wait to be chosen. Choose yourself. And then build a life so rich, so full of light, that the man who comes along is not your reason for happiness. He's the one lucky enough to witness it. Let's get one thing straight. Feminine power is not weakness. It's not softness wrapped in submission. It's not passivity or silence or sugar-coated words meant to avoid making someone uncomfortable. Feminine power is depth. It's intuition. It's the storm and the stillness. It's the ability to hold chaos and beauty in the same breath. And for too long, women have been taught to suppress it. To trade fire for politeness, to trade instinct for approval. But the truth is, when a woman reclaims her feminine energy, not the version sold to her in commercials, but the real, ancient, sacred kind, she becomes a force no man can ignore. Feminine energy is receptive, but don't mistake that for passive. It listens, yes, but it listens with presence, with wisdom, with discernment. It doesn't chase. It doesn't need to. It doesn't perform because it already is. Feminine energy draws in rather than reaching out. It's the magnet, not the metal. And when you embody it, you stop trying to control everything. You trust. You flow. You respond with power instead of reacting in panic. That shift changes how you move, how you speak, how you connect. You begin to attract, not just by what you say. There's a quiet confidence in a woman who's in her feminine. She doesn't scream for attention. She commands it by her presence. She's grounded in her body. She feels everything deeply and still chooses to remain open. That's strength. That's courage. And a beautiful man doesn't fall in love with control. He falls in love with truth. He's drawn to the woman who can be soft without being small, who can be emotional without being chaotic, who can express her needs without apology. Feminine power is not about shrinking to make someone else feel big. It's about expanding so you both rise. Let's talk about receptivity. In a world that glorifies hustle and hardness, being open, being in receiving mode is radical. It means you know your values so deeply, you no longer feel the need to prove it. You allow yourself to receive love, compliments, help, support without guilt. You understand that true feminine energy doesn't beg for love, it welcomes it. There is grace in allowing. And when a woman allows with intention, not out of helplessness, but from power, that's when the dynamic shifts. That's when love becomes a dance, not a tug of war. So many women are stuck in overdrive, trying to control, to micromanage, to lead every step of the dance. But if you want a man who leads with strength and clarity, you must create the space for that leadership to exist. That doesn't mean giving up your voice. It means knowing when to lean back, when to let him show up, when to give him room to be in his masculine without trying to one-up it or dominate it. Feminine power doesn't overpower. It invites. It makes space. It honors both energies. And in that balance, attraction becomes something deeper than chemistry. It becomes polarity. Here's the truth. Embracing your feminine isn't about being less. It's about being more you, more present, more alive, more radiant. A beautiful man wants a woman who feels, who connects, who expresses, not one who hides behind control and independence because she's afraid to be vulnerable. Vulnerability is not weakness. It's the gateway to intimacy. And when you own your feminine energy fully, you stop dimming, you stop guarding, you stop proving, you simply, and in that being, you become unforgettable. Because feminine power doesn't scream to be noticed. It moves the room without a word. Confidence isn't noise. It isn't loud. It isn't arrogance wrapped in fake smiles and high heels. Real confidence is stillness. It's knowing exactly who you are without needing everyone else to agree. It's the way you walk into a room without shrinking or explaining or pretending. It's when your energy introduces you before your words do. And that kind of confidence? It's magnetic. A beautiful man doesn't fall for the woman who tries to be everything. He falls for the one who knows she doesn't need to be. Because confidence doesn't ask for permission. It walks in fully clear. The kind of confidence that draws in the right man isn't built from praise or likes or validation. It's built in the quiet. It's the confidence you earn when you keep promises to yourself, when you show up when no one's watching, when you honor your boundaries, speak your truth, and stop apologizing for your existence. That's what makes you grounded. That's what makes you powerful. Because confidence is not about having it all together. It's about being okay, even when you don't. It's knowing that no external relationship, no man, no status can define your worth. You define it every single day. And let's talk about boundaries, because confidence without boundaries is performance. Boundaries are how you protect your energy, your time, your heart. A confident woman doesn't overextend to prove her worth. She doesn't say yes when her soul screams no. She doesn't tolerate disrespect and call it love. She walks away when something costs her peace. And that's not drama. That's dignity. A beautiful man doesn't want to walk over you. He wants to walk with you. And he can only do that if you've already drawn the lines that honor your value. Boundaries are not walls, they are standards, and they are sexy. Confidence is also about ownership, owning your flaws, your strengths, your story. You're not here to be perfect. You're here to be real. When you stop hiding the parts of you that are still healing, still growing, still learning, you become human. And in that humanity, you become magnetic. Because nothing repels like perfection. It creates distance, pressure, pretense. But when you show up in full ownership of who you are, unpolished, unedited, undeniable, you invite connection, not the surface kind. And that's the kind of connection a beautiful man is searching for, even if he doesn't know it yet. What most people don't tell you is that confidence is a decision. It's not something you wait to feel. It's something you choose every morning, every moment. You choose to stand tall, even when you're shaking. You choose to show up, even when you're scared. You choose to speak, even when your voice trembles. That choice, that inner yes to yourself, is what builds confidence brick by brick. And over time, that choice becomes your power. Because confidence isn't about feeling ready. It's about moving anyway. Trusting that your light doesn't need confirmation to shine. It just needs permission from you. So if you want to attract a man who sees you, respects you, stands in awe of you, it starts with how you see yourself. Stop begging for crumbs and start sitting at tables that honor your presence. Stop chasing love and start embodying it. Stand in your truth, not your fear, and let your confidence be the filter. Because the man you're meant to attract won't be intimidated by your power. He'll rise to meet it. But only if you've already claimed it. And when you do, you won't just attract a beautiful man. You'll attract a beautiful life. One that mirrors the confidence you finally decided to own. So stop waiting. Stop wondering if you're enough. You are. Right now, as you are. Own your fire. Embody your depth. Let your life reflect the kind of love you desire. Not through hope, but through embodiment. The man you're meant to attract won't need convincing. He'll feel it. In your presence. In your power. In the way you move through the world like you were never meant to be small. You weren't. You were made to shine. And the moment you stop searching and start being, he'll find you. Not because you needed him, but because you became unmissable.